Mirroring. What the heck is it? Hey everyone, Linda here with Love Song Reiki. Raise your hand if you've heard the term mirroring and you kind of have an inkling about maybe you kind of somewhat have a little bit of an idea of what it is. Well, that was me. All these years I've heard about mirroring, mirroring, mirroring. We mirror each other. And I was like, I really don't know what that means. I just I didn't get it. So over the last few days, some situations have come up that were like throwing it in my face. So I guess now is the time for me to start learning about mirroring. And so far, what I have learned, I feel like I can share with you. And then if you want to learn more about it, then you can, of course, continue on with your research. So for me, I understand the basis of mirroring to be that we understand that we are all fractals of the divine creator, of God, of source. We are all particles of source. We are all interconnected. We are all part of that same energy body, that same energy field. Physics through quantum entanglement has shown that if someone is on the other side of the universe and you think about them, that thought can be felt by their energy instantaneously. We are all entangled. We're all working together. So what that means is that we as human beings are existing in a living feedback system. And because we are all energetically providing and receiving feedback from each other constantly, we're acting as mirrors of each other. Now, I'm going to be referring to some notes because this is just a lot for me. But we're gonna see what we can figure out. So how I understand it is, let me tell you a story. So I was at a group mediumship reading this weekend with a lovely lady, and I asked about my parents, and my dad came through, and my dad was standing in the background, and she said, "This is really interesting. He's waiting to be invited in. He doesn't want to intrude." And this led to a whole discussion with her about things, and I found myself really, really upset about that. I'm like, I talk to him all the time. What do you mean he doesn't want to intrude? Why do I have to invite him in? He's my dad, blah, 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 blah. So I had to really sit and think about what was bringing up these feelings for me around my dad standing in the background, not wanting to intrude in my life. And what I figured out was, oh my God, I'm him. So he was mirroring me. I was seeing parts of me that exist in my dad. He was showing me that I exist by showing me how he is. So I'll explain it this way. I don't like to intrude on people's lives. I'm usually not going to be the first one to call somebody. It really bothers me to even text somebody to say, hey, what you up to? Because I don't want to intrude. I know it sounds crazy. I really am uncomfortable with being the person initiating that contact. Even though if you look at my human design, it says I'm an initiator, the reality is it doesn't mean I initiate contact. It means I initiate healing and teaching and things like that. But that it specifically says that I sit in the background and wait to be invited. So my dad was showing me a mirror of myself so I could understand this part of myself and then decide how I want to work on that in the future. Is it something that serves me, or is it something that maybe if I would release some of that fear of intruding and instead think of it in a different way, a more positive light, as providing a service to somebody or providing friendship or providing connection, however I can reframe it in my mind in a more positive, loving, joyful way, then maybe I can break this habit of sitting in the background and maybe even playing it kind of small. So I was like mirroring. So I was mirroring, my dad was mirroring back to me an unhealed part of me. But it also evidently is an unhealed part of him because he's still waiting to be invited. Well, I've made it clear to him because I was a little mad at him I was a little mad at him about that because it led back to some whole childhood stuff. And so I did a little bit of cursing, a little bit of dad, 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 blah, 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 blah. And I finally have let that go and understood it for what it is. So that's just an example of how it manifested in my life. But how it might manifest in your life is, say you meet a new person and you're automatically thinking, oh, there's something I don't like about that person. Usually, even though you don't consciously know what you don't like about that person deep down, your energy is feeling that other person's energy. And if you have similar wounds, similar resonances along a traumatic path, then your two bodies, your two energy fields are mirroring it back to each other. And you don't want to look at it in yourself. So you certainly don't want to look at it in anybody else. So you're going to stand back from that person and go, oh, heck no, I don't even want to see this. I'm not going to go there. I don't even want to be around this person. And it can reflect in so many ways. Now, mirroring doesn't just have to be the negative, dense energies. You can also mirror to somebody love, joy, peace. Like if someone really likes being around you, then it's because they have the energy of inner peace in them, and you're holding the energy of inner peace. And because you are reflecting it back to them, even they may not have been consciously looking for it, but because you're mirroring it back, because you're providing them that same energy that they feel is within them and they just haven't been able to connect with, then you're providing them that healing, love, joy, and peace because you're reflecting it back to them and helping their body and their energy system to understand that they have that within them as well. So, when we are being a mirror to each other, we're reflecting back to the other an energy that exists within both of us. And it's up to us when we're in these situations that really are kind of maybe confusing or confounding, and we're wondering what the heck, maybe sit back and look at it and really try to understand what it is about you that they were showing you. So anyways, one way that I heard it mentioned is that when you're with someone and your energies are communicating through this trauma resonance, remembering to yourself that if that person maybe is lashing out at you even, you didn't make the wound. The wound was already there. You just held the mirror still enough within your body for them, for their energy field to witness it and to see it. And maybe by being the mirror, you're going to help them heal. Maybe by acting as a mirror and receiving their mirrored energy, it's going to help you to heal. So that's my very basic understanding of mirroring. When someone is repelled by me and I sense it right away, I'm going to say, oh my gosh, what are they seeing in me? Or what am I reflecting in them? What layer of me is inviting this feedback from them? And it's just really important to sit back sometimes and really examine what's going on with these interactions with each other. So anyways, that's mirroring. Now, you also have probably heard of mirror work. That's different. Mirror work, from what I understand through Louise Hay's work, is, actually looking into a mirror and talking to yourself, being truthful with yourself, looking into your own eyes, and talking to yourself in a loving, compassionate way. So mirror work, I was always kind of lumping in there with mirroring, but now I know that that's not the same at all. So anyways, mirroring, just reflecting back to each other that you each hold the exact same resonance, whether you can consciously know it or whether you are able to understand it completely. There's always a reason you feel a certain way around somebody. So sometimes it could be important to really sit back and look at it. So anyways, I'm done rambling. I'm going to go have a cup of coffee with my kitty cat mug and just wish you all a very blessed day. Bye for now.